So what's your beef with Erika Kirk? How many times have you heard this? What's your beef? Why are you bothering this woman? She's a widow. You're being cruel to her. Let her go. That's what people say. And if you didn't know anything, that might make sense. If you didn't understand the facts of this, that might make sense. But I've got some things I want to show you, which might be old news to many, but to others, they still haven't seen this. They really don't understand. They don't understand the totality of the circumstances. They don't understand the background. A couple of absolute facts. Nobody went into this with any feel, one way or the other, about Erika Kirk. Nobody knew who she was. I mean, we knew who she was, but nobody went into this with any sense of venom, any type of automatic dislike or distaste or distrust. None of that. No, it never took place. It never took place. It was learned. It was acquired. And as you learn, and as I've learned from my years of involvement in and study with professional wrestling, you develop an angle, heat, the storyline. And you might think that crude. Trust me, the world and politics are professional wrestling. Now, a couple of things here. Let me show you the first moment, the moment for me, I can only speak for me, where I thought, oh my God, no, this isn't right. And I can only judge this on what I would do. What I would do. What would I do? If I wouldn't do it, or if I would have a hard problem, that's the only basis I have, especially with the death of a loved one, the tragic death of a loved one, and what would seem to many to be the exploitation of the death of a loved one. That's all I've got. People who milk it, camp it up, exploit it, commercialize it, commodify it. It's there's something very odd, especially I can understand how sometimes, I remember one time when I was a kid, they had the original car, supposedly, or supposedly, as some people say, the original car that Bonnie and Clyde were killed in. I thought, oh, the last car that Hank Williams was in, the last, I can kind of sort of, the Texas School Book Depository. Okay, that sort of history, maybe, sort of. Yeah. But what I'm about to show you is where I draw and drew the line. Okay? Very, 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 very simple. And it starts off very simple with this, just to bring you up to speed. And I want you to understand something. Remember, what I'm trying to show you is not anything. Remember, at this time, I had no idea, none. I can only speak for me. No idea who she was. Felt terrible for her and her kids and Charlie's parents and sister, I believe, whom we never hear anything about, which is another story. But let's watch this very carefully. Keep an open mind. Remember, imagine this is the first time you saw anything really about this, and ask yourself what you think and what your reactions are.
Mr. President, my husband loved you. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die.
Okay, now this is where it changed for me. I watched this today, now, for the first time in a long time. Notice new things about it. This sucker punched me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. See what you think. Do you agree? Am I being perhaps too well, watch.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
Okay, let me stop right there because I don't know what's coming up with this. But I want you to understand a couple of things that we might have seen there, and this is important. Let's go back to this. Again, I don't want to be Zapruder film-ish on you, but I've got to tell you something. This is what I didn't notice until today. This is the part which I didn't really understand. I didn't see this then. I watched this. She was mic'd. Listen to the quality of the sound. First of all, there's somebody with a camera right here. This is not somebody who happened to have the camera open. This was, I don't want to say staged, but this was positioned. You cannot help somebody who, by virtue of the propinquity or the distance, somebody's right there. But listen to the mic'd part of this.
Oh, I love you. I love you.
Now, I know I may have a good microphone on that camera, but could she be mic'd for this?
I know. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Now, people are going to say, you're sick, you're awful, you're terrible, whatever. I understand that. People say that. Think about this. Go through this. Number one, would you do this? Your husband or your wife was just slain. Would you do this? Would you do this? This once proud, once tall, powerful leader of a movement, which I don't think we're going to see for a long time. I think a lot of that unfortunately died, but a leader. This is your husband, your wife. Would you do this? I couldn't do this on my best day. First, I would be so distraught, so bereft, so absent any ability to function. There would be sobbing. And this is very interesting now. And please, if you don't want to hear this, I understand. Because there's some people that are saying, this is just horrible, this is terrible. Okay, fine. I understand. If you don't understand this, I get it. And nobody's forcing you. But one of the things that people forget about crying, the act of crying, is the idea of the way it's connected to the nose. I would need handkerchiefs, Kleenex, because I would be, dare I say, mucosal. I would be I would be in paroxysms, like convulsions. I would be, and for no other reason, I wouldn't want a camera there seeing this moment of me. If you want to show him, okay, maybe. Look, they've shown Dr. King, Elvis. Sometimes you have to have, there are important moments where you have to show, I don't want to think about this, Emmett Till, by the way, because remember his mother deliberately wanted her to be, him to be seen. But the idea that I want you to see what you did to my husband, I understand that. And I don't want to get into the whole object permanence thing that people, unless you see somebody in the casket, you're kind of going to wonder, is he really there? No, I can understand it. There is an historical basis for this. It makes complete and total sense. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not it. It's the performative part. It's the virtue signaling, but the performative grief. Look at me, how I'm handling this, how I'm dealing with this. See, this is what I thought I couldn't do this. And the only basis for this, the only basis I have is, what would I do? I would have said, is that a camera? Get that out of here. And plus, it sounds, maybe I don't know that much about technology, but I don't know if a camera back this, maybe it's got a great mic, but it sounds like she was mic'd almost for this. And thank God they didn't show the picture of him, because that would have been it. But the idea of his hands, and I don't know why the hands bother me. Look, this is me. And I'm not the only one. This is when people said, all right, that's it. That's enough. Let me give you an example. One time I saw this, and I'm not suggesting that the two are related, but sort of, maybe, kind of, sort of, maybe they are. Give you an example. There was a fellow that I knew. I don't know if I know, but it was in this Facebook road. Facebook is just so demented. These people live in Facebook. They live in this world that they create that nobody ever knows, nobody sees, nobody. It's like a parallel universe. It's their own inertial bubble. Anyway, this fellow went to visiting his mother, who had either passed away or was pert near meeting her maker in a hospital with tubes. And her hand was sticking out and looked a tad, dare I say, purplish, looked old, had maybe IV, obviously did not look good. And so help me God, I should go blind if I'm exaggerating. He, on his own, had his camera and took a picture with his mother, just strategically positioned behind him with a look of, I thought, if there is a hell, you're in the smoking section. You have lost every semblance, every granular atom, every ort of decency and humanity for a Facebook. Unbelievable. And I don't know what bothers me more, people who don't see that, or people who think it's the usual, oh, stop it. Look, the latter group, we always have these people. They just love they're the proverbial turd in the punch bowl. Everything's wrong. That's wrong. But some people just don't understand it, because I think they've lived in this weird kind of stage for so long, where every moment of their child, I'm still yelling at people for taking pictures of kids like in the pool or in bathtubs. It's like, what are you doing? Do you know what this is? It's like, no, because to them, the world is a stage and nothing happens unless it makes the stage. If it doesn't exist, if it's not there, if it's not performance-based, it didn't exist. I didn't have lunch. I didn't have dessert. Unless I take a picture of my tiramisu. Then, you got it? Then it happened. Then I was there. Then it occurred. But unless I validate it and document it and chronicle this and memorialize this event on my phone and post it, it didn't occur. It's like going into your eye, but if there's no optic nerve, it doesn't connect. And this is like your optic nerve to your soul. Remember this was incredible. Remember the picture of the event. What was it? Oh, it was the State of the Union. Remember this? Remember when Erika was sitting next to the mother of the young Ukrainian girl. Remember this one? Remember this? Where was it? No, that's not it. That's the wrong one there. I'll get that one for you. But this woman, the mother was just, again, spent, empty, vacuous. Her tears, there's nothing there but her grief. And you could almost see Erika saying, "Oh, is that what that looks like? I should work on this." Because what did she do? What was the thing? What was this? The omnipresent. We'll talk about this in a moment. This became almost like Louis Armstrong, Satchmo with this. Hello, Dolly. I mean, this. We'll get to that in a moment. In fact, let me show you this before we get to the last example. This is interesting. When actors and actresses find themselves wanting or unable to meet the sequence of emotion that is required to reproduce crying, there's a number of ways they can do it. Some of them are just very good. They all, ask me, it's a little weird, but they can just summon tears out of anywhere. because it is a routine. But there are other things, for example, on movie sets, there's this kind of like a fan that can breathe or breathe, but can expel or produce menthol fumes so that you'll start to lacrimate. And don't forget, the lacrimate tearing is always in the nose. You never see her blow her nose. You never see her blow her nose. There's no blowing of the nose. Remember, most of the time, the tissue is for nose blowing, not for dabbing the eyes. Just telling you, most crying involves that. It's connected. There's a reason for that. She might be like Prince Andrew, who doesn't sweat. Maybe she doesn't produce mucus. Okay, fine. Enough with that. This, interestingly enough, is a product. This is a product which is very interesting. That's not it. That's not it. Here we go. Here we go. This is the one here. Yes, yes, yes. I'm pretty good with this newfangled stuff here. This is a product, by the way. Believe me, you're going to want this. Now, I'm not endorsing this. I don't know anything about the product. All I know is it's out there, and I find it fascinating. Watch this. This actually exists. I didn't know this until recently. Again, I'm not getting any money from this. I'm just showing you this.
The Narrative Cosmetics Tear Stick is a menthol-infused wax stick specifically made to help actors and actresses cry on cue.
This is fascinating.
To use, apply a thin layer about 1/2 inch or 15 millimeters under the eye. The natural temperature of the skin will warm the wax, releasing menthol vapors, causing real, natural tears to form. For a stronger effect, apply multiple layers as needed. The tear stick is easy to remove with soap and water or makeup remover, and will not...
What was that? What's that? Is that removal or application? I don't know.
Not dry out your skin. The compact and durable design makes it easy to carry in any kit, so it's at the ready when you need it.
Well, there you have it. Anyway, and I'm sure it's a great product, and by the way, it's a great stocking stuffer and great for dad or grad. But there are techniques, there are things, and I always wondered about that. I just wondered. Now, I'm not suggesting that Erika did this. I did not know this, but I'm fascinated by people who are able to cry on command. And again, not suggesting anybody's crying on command, but if you were to try to cry on command, sometimes, especially if you're in a group of people, if you're in front of a camera, if you have explosions going off, and there are these sticks, these available, these tear sticks, which I did not know they even exist. And I'm sure it's a great product and great for actors, and it's good to know. Who knows? You might want to use this when you're asking for a raise, or you're again trying to mimic, as an actor, human emotions. And tears, let's face it, that is tough. Now, but if there was one event that really, it's hard to say what was worse. How do I say this? The event of the coffin, or maybe this one.
Yeah. Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is.
Hang a minute. Wait a minute. There we go. Now, let me tell you about this one. This was the famous one. This is, if you notice this, 6 days after the brutal elimination and dispatch of her husband. 6 days. 6. Not even a week. Where you have been with kids and, I'm trying to think. Now, this is the opposite of a tear stick. This is, I would need some kind of narcotic or something or amphetamine. I'm not suggesting she's using this, but for me to do this This is the resiliency of this woman 6 days after this is a TPUSA internal call. This is where she's meeting with folks. This is, again, this is a widow speaking to the affiliates, I guess, or the employees and the members of TPUSA.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, it's just a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never liked Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken.
Right off the bat. Did you hear that? It's almost like she caught herself. Oh, I think I'm going to say my heart is broken. Okay.
For you guys, as much as it is for our family, you guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also...
Do you see this right now? Did you ever see Bill Hader do a Lorne Michaels imitation? And the Lorne Michaels imitation is this, where he says, you know, I can't do it, but he says, I was meeting with BTK killer, and you know, where he does this thing where he drops names, and whenever he's like trying to seem almost like it's off-putting. Yeah, you know, like I was talking to Mick and Bianca, and why am I thinking this?
That you loved listening to his show. You loved hearing.
She's trying to remember. You loved listening to his show. You loved, let me see, what did you love? His voice. This is what people are missing.
His wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those. And I want you all to remember those so deeply. I want you to journal about them. I want you to be able to tell your kids about them. I want you to put those in your heart as why you're still here with the Turning Point USA family, because that's what we want. And like I said to our small group after whatever day that was that I did the thing on TV, how many days are still going Good Friday. I told the team, I said, Turning Point USA will continue like my husband always wanted, and it'll be bigger than ever. And we're going to honor him by doing that. We're going to stay humble. We're going to work hard because that's what he would want. And we're going to just make it grow. And we're going to keep our eyes fixed on heaven. And, you know, like even Stacey said, he's going to find ways to speak to us. And he's going to speak to you in different ways. Every person's going to be different, but you'll get little moments where you're like, okay, Charlie, I see you. It might be here on campus. It might be in quiet moments of the night, but he's here and he's more alive than ever. And he is, he's going to guide us. And we just have to remain humble. But again, what I told the team was, I will fight like hell to make sure that all of you have a job here. I don't want anyone to think their job's in jeopardy, because your family, if you choose to leave, that's different. I never will, and I promise you, I will make sure that I never allow a point to where you have to leave because.
Okay, I can't. I just okay. Later on, she was going into specifics of merch and sales, reminding me of kind of Glengarry, Glen Ross, you know, coffees for closers. So let's look at this again. Now, first, there are people who do not understand anything that I've said, because their first reaction, the default reaction, the easiest reaction is, this is a woman, and when somebody's relative has died, you just cannot reflect or look or analyze or review or inspect or comment on anything that they do ever. You are just disenabled. You are disqualified from doing so. You don't do so. You can't do it. You can't. That's what they say. Okay, fine. I disagree. Number two, the reason why is a couple of things. First, This was not just somebody who died. This was the leader of a movement, the likes of which I don't think we will ever see in a long time. And that precisely might be one of the reasons why somebody or some people considered his immediate dispatch to be so necessary, because we really don't know at this point. And let me also be absolutely clear. And I don't want to speak for Candace, but I at least I think I can in this respect, or I think she will agree. Nobody's suggesting she had anything to do with it. Nobody ever said that. Nobody. She can act strange all she wants, or act inappropriate, or act disconnected, but that does not mean any kind of complicity or any kind of conspiracy status that she would enjoy. Absolutely, positively not. No way. None. Zero. And people are going to say that because they're not really paying attention. But what we're talking about here is somebody who you're talking to kids who, first of all, lost in this day, not just to them, it's almost like John Lennon and I'm trying to think of JFK. It's the first time many of these very, very young kids, their 20s or whatever, or maybe even younger, they've never had somebody in their life. And they were very close to Charlie to be removed like this. There's also something which is very, very sad and very, very important to understand and to note specifically. I remember like it was yesterday. My wife and I happened to be at an event on Long Island and a meeting with some people that you would never think would be Charlie Kirk's fans. And they were absolutely just thunderstruck, gobsmacked. They couldn't believe it. They were shocked, saddened, hurt, and their kids. And they also said, I didn't know my son or daughter listened to him. They had no idea. So first, you have a responsibility, not just as the spouse and not just as the CEO, president later on, which was the product of an alleged audio or recorded message that some suspect might be AI. Nobody can find, nobody can reference. But anyway, this is critical. So everything you do, you're talking to kids who are obviously looking to you, maybe, believe it or not, almost like a mother, because this was kind of like their big brother or maybe their father, and you're his spouse. You're as close to Charlie as anybody's going to get. Is this appropriate? No. Is this the way you would act? No. And to start off almost giddy, I can't put you through. Watch this anytime you want. Why? It's all over the place. Watch her go through the merch sales and talk about how you got to go out there and sell this product. It's unreal. Now, the big takeaway. So what does all this mean? Is she involved? No. But it goes to show you, number one, had she not insinuated herself specifically, now as the head, but had she not insinuated herself in this as the voice of the representative of Charlie, we would have never known this. Nothing. I'm telling you right now, even after that coffin scene, people would have said, oh, well, that's it. What are you going to do? And that would have been it. That's not it. That's not what happened. It was it was the book deal. It was the meeting with Barry Weiss. It was a meeting later on with Caroline Levitt, with Megan, and with everybody, and Ferris Faulkner. And I mean, she's on every show there is. And none of it had anything to do with the most important thing to do is to remember Charlie's legacy. And to the young people out there, please make sure if you need to talk to somebody, please do this. You might have to dig deep into your own spirituality, maybe grief counseling or something. We're going to do everything that we can to meet with you. No, it was about her. And it was this feeling that she felt, this feeling of this affront this attack on her, and how she weathered through this and soldiered on despite the slings and arrows. It was about her, how she's handling it, how she's doing, how she's dealing with this disrespect, how she's doing it. We couldn't believe it. Again, had no idea who she was. And it kept getting worse. And nobody there, apparently at TP, and by the way, those other children, those other benighted moon bats, those little men children, whoever they are, they weren't much better. But nobody told her, listen, we've got to talk to you about this. First of all, we must be getting, there's a lot of responsive creepiness. We're gonna have to work on how we present this. Because believe me, when people want to talk about Charlie, not number one on their list is how are you doing? How are you handling this? What kind of a problem? You never mention your kids. You never mention Charlie's parents. You never mention, I think he has a sister, or where he's buried. Is he cremated? I mean, what? Nothing. It's almost like get him out of the way. Get him out of the way. So this is what this is about. This is where this started. This is where this started. And the thing that, which is the most interesting is that you have to go through a lot of work. When you are the widow of somebody that the country loves, in order for you to change it, you go in there with a lot of collateral, a lot of grief and respect, equity, whatever the particular word is. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Just act humble. Candace Owens said it best. If you look at Kobe Bryant's wife, the way she handled this, she was very, very, she was rather a bit, laconic. She didn't go out of her way. She acknowledged it and she says, no, I'm going to back off. And she didn't say, and by the way, don't forget your Lakers season tickets at Lakers.com. She didn't jump into a marketing pitch. Nobody does. Nobody does this. Nobody. Because what's interesting about her, and this is what we never saw before, we never knew, all her life, apparently it seems like this is about presenting her. And for no other reason, it's one of the most fascinating studies of personality I've ever seen. There is nobody we've seen. Look, what is she like? I don't know. Meghan Markle, maybe? No, but Meghan Markle doesn't do this. Kim Kardashian doesn't do this. Paris, I'm trying to think of who else, because she's almost like she's somebody who is a derivative star. She had no significance other than she was the wife of Charlie. That's it. She, and you've been through this all her life. She's trying to do something. She wants to be the star. She wants to be the pageant. She's tried everything there is. This is her chance. Oh, and we've talked about her mother and everything. Okay, fine. But step back from it. Just disabuse yourself, disconnect yourself of any kind of feelings that you have to have, like you've got to defend. Just ask yourself, if you put Erika on the couch, so to speak, if you analyze her, if you said, what is your goal? What do you think? What did this represent to you? It was, in essence, her coming out. Her debut. It was like a debutante, with a funereal overtone. It was about, this is my time. I'm going to do this. And it's about me, how I'm doing. And even at that White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is one of the, I just want to go home. People were walking around almost frivolous. Now, again, I wasn't there and you weren't there, but there were a lot of people there. Remember, they were just taking bottles. They were in the dining room. Anybody can I have your salad? One guy was eating from New York. I think I know him. He was eating. He said, I'm not going to leave. They were underneath the table. Kash Patel was on this phone saying, I can't get service here. I can't get my Uber. This is this is director of the FBI. It was weird. He's wondering where his girlfriend is. Even the president was backstage like, everybody all right? Yeah. There was not this sense of, in fact, people were said, stay put, don't leave. How did she leave? How was she escorted out? And how was she perfectly viewed saying, I just want to go home? Where did that come from? How did that even happen? How do you leave a theoretically an assassination attempt crime scene? And by the way, don't forget, we haven't heard anything about this feller at all. Nothing. We don't know anything about him. We don't know nothing, zero, nada about him. Nothing. Isn't that something? Isn't that interesting? We don't know where he went. He just, because there's something weird about that, but I'll let others decide. So even that event, even that. And then she came out wearing the famous sniper hat. Remember that one? And she says, basically, look, there I was, and I can't believe, and I thought I'd go there, and I would meet these journalists face to face, the ones who give me, little old me, a hard time, the people who bother me. I was going to approach them face to face, once and for all. I, how they treated me. Unreal. And I'm going to go there. Candace says she took her bridal shot. She's in the room looking out the window. I mean, this is just, am I a star? What am I trying to do? And then she found it. Absolutely. This is again, it's not my words, her words. She was completely taken aback, gobsmacked over the fact, this is important, that they have the unmitigated audacity to maybe insinuate themselves into the news story where they had they were taking pictures so that they could be a part of the show, which apparently she said violated the first rule of journalism. They happen to be at a place with a camera and they're journalists. And yeah, it is there, and I'm far be it from me to defend these folks, but that's kind of what you do. You're there. It would have been almost criminal for you not to have noticed something, not to have chronicled this. You were an eyewitness of this, not to put yourself in the middle of it, but it was all going, you had cameras there. Even that she misunderstood. She was trying to get away from the fact that this was about her. It's absolutely fascinating. If for no other reason than just trying to figure out what is she thinking, that alone is interesting. The sad part is he's gone. And there's a lot of us who are not going to let him be forgotten. And a lot of us who are not going to let that patsy, that feller by the name of Tyler Robinson, take the heat for this. Because he's as guilty as my lint brush. Okay? We'll get to that later. And this may really throw people up because that case is a dog. Nobody's talking about this. By the way, Erika both forgives him and then demands and files a motion in essence for a speedy trial as the victim. Not under classic Sixth Amendment speedy trial, but it's kind of an interesting, kind of a countervailing, so to speak, is weird. I want him to be treated fairly, but quickly. Expedite this. Speed this thing up. Let's go. And while we're on the subject, Tyler, I hope they're watching you because my advice is don't buy the green bananas because the fact is, if you go bye-bye, all of their problems will be over. So there you have it. What do you think? I know. Do me a favor. You can say whatever you want. Why are you talking about this? I don't know how to explain this. How do you explain to somebody a story from Jackie Kennedy, Yoko Ono, Ethel Kennedy, all of Medgar Evers, his wife, go down the list of people, of widows who never, ever became part of the story. They wanted to absent themselves. Never. This is never. And you felt for them. You've seen this historically. Jackie Kennedy standing there with the veil or the mantilla. She's standing there and she's through the veil of tears. And little John with his saluting and just the the riderless horse. Oh my God. Coretta Scott King at the scene just looking like, what am I going to do now with all these kids? That's what we've always seen. Yoko, say what you want about Yoko, but she always maintained her kind of this reserved and distant dignity regarding this is her. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. Never. They're going to be talking about this one forever. And the best part is she doesn't understand that. She has no idea what's going on. And the TPUSA folks, they don't know it either. And by the way, and I'll leave it at this latest interesting revelation is that the number of actual chapters may not actually be there. They might be astroturfed or ghost chapters or whatever. So it remains to be seen. So my friends, thank you for this. I have to say this, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of new videos and new live streams. And please subscribe to our channel. And I want you to seriously respond to this. What is your take? That's really the greatest part about this particular platform. Not necessarily merely just, okay, here it is, it's me, but you, the interactive part of it. What do you think? And I've got some questions specifically for you to answer. And what is your thought as you comment, as you see fit?